Hi everybody, Joe Oden over at All Seasons RV in Streetsboro, Ohio. We're going to do the second segment of our virtual electrical seminar. The first segment I talked a little bit about safely and properly connecting your camper to a hardwire connection, whether that be at your home or at a campsite itself. Today I'm going to go over some portable power solutions, touching on both solar panels and generators. Now when we're talking about solar panels, the first thing you need to understand is the difference between a power converter and a power inverter. A power converter is what is equipped on 99% of RVs that are on the market today. And that's going to be this box right here. Basically what this does is takes your 110 shore power that you're plugged into and converts it down to 12 volts in order to run all of your appliances, lights, furnace, things of that nature. The exact opposite of a converter is an inverter. And when I say exact opposite, I mean an inverter takes 12 volt power from a battery and bumps it up to 110 so you can run 110 appliances, maybe like a fan, a laptop charger, things of that nature. This is going to be detrimental if you're relying on solar power for your camping experience. So as far as the solar grid in a camper works, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. You can go with a portable solar panel. It's going to sit out on the ground. You can either connect it to your battery via alligator clips, or some or most RVs are actually equipped with a power plug on the side, so you can plug a solar panel into it and charge the battery directly. Or you also have the option to hard mount a solar panel on the roof or multiple solar panels on the roof, so you have that power with you no matter where you go. So when talking about solar power, you got to understand you can't use everything all the time, and it's all going to depend on your climate, where you're at. Mainly what you're going to get out of solar panels are going to be your lights, your furnace, your refrigerator, water pump, things of that nature. You can pair it with an inverter. They make them in all sorts of sizes. You can get them up to 3,000 watts. At that point in time, you'd be able to run like a microwave, blender, things like that. Not necessarily for a long period of time, but it still allows you to have those creature comforts from your house with you if you're going completely off the grid. Now, in talking about off-grid camping, what we recommend to most people when they're talking about batteries is going with at least 2 6-volt deep cycle marine batteries. You can wire those in series and end up with 12-volt power to power your camper at the proper voltage for your 12-volt systems. But you want to go with at least 2 6-volt batteries. The reason being is you have a lot more amp hours that you can draw out over a much longer period of time than if you have one single or 2 12-volt batteries like you'd have come on the camper from the factory. It's also getting more popular to use lithium-ion batteries. They are a little bit more expensive of an option. At this point in time, for a good lithium-ion battery, you're going to be looking at least about $1,000. For 2 6-volt batteries, you're going to be looking at around $300 to $500, depending on what kind of battery you go with. Now, if you're really planning on getting serious and staying off the grid for very long periods of time and you want to rely strictly on solar, you typically, depending on the size of the unit, you want to be anywhere from 130 to 240 watts of solar power with at least a 1,500 watt power inverter and a bank of 2 to 6-volt batteries. So basically you're wiring everything up sort of like a golf cart, if any of you are familiar with that. So that's just something you want to bear in mind there. But the other thing you got to realize about solar is it's nice to stay off the grid and everything, but if you're going to be in a real hot climate, you're not going to be able to rely on the solar power to operate your air conditioner, because that's just not feasible. You'd have to have more batteries than you could probably fit in any of your compartments, and it would really probably exceed the towing capacity of your truck by the time you put all that weight in there. Now, moving on from the solar panels, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about power generation and what kind of sizing you need depending on your unit. We recommend for any camper that has one AC or a 30 amp service on it, you'll want to use at least a 3,000 watt generator, and you can pair that with multiple generators depending on what kind you have. If you have a smaller compact generator like this, they make a lot of different parallel kits, so you can pair multiples together. This particular one has 1,700 watts. So if we took 2 of these and paired them together, that would give you more than 3,000 watts of running power, so that would be ample. And then if you're at night, you didn't want to run both generators, you could just run one, and then you'd kind of reduce your fuel consumption at that point in time. Now, if you're in a larger unit, large travel trailer or fifth wheel, and you're on a 50 amp service or have two air conditioners and you want to run them both at the same time, at that point you want to step up to at least a 5,500 watt generator. Those can be a little heavier and a little harder to get around. So you do also have several generators out on the market where you have a 3,000 watt configuration that you can parallel with another 3,000 watt configuration, just to keep everything a little bit more portable and still maintain the power capacity that you need to stay out on the road. So also, when considering what kind of generator you want to buy, you want to consider where you're going to be camping at. If you're going to be doing state parks, national parks, where you're going to be around people and you want to run it all throughout the day, you're going to want to stick with an inverter generator. They are much quieter than your typical open cage generator. The reason being, they do have a throttle control on the motor. The less power you use, the lower their throttle down, and they're completely encased and have high density foam on the inside to absorb a lot of the sound that they produce. Now, your typical open cage generator, that would be more suited for someone who's on a construction site or on the pipeline, who's living in their RV, where noise really isn't an issue. But if you're going out to a private campground that doesn't have a shore power hookup, you're definitely gonna go ahead and stick with an inverter generator. Now, as far as plugging your generator or hooking your generator up to your camper, there are a couple things you want to make sure you're doing properly. Most generators do have a 3-prong twist lock plug on the side, so when you purchase your generator, make sure you have the proper plug on your RV to plug into the generator, because on the male end of an RV cord, as most of you know, it's not a twist lock, it's just a push in. Now, some generators that are made specifically for RVs actually have an RV 30 or 50 amp plug right on the front, but that's just something you want to keep in mind when you're purchasing a generator. As far as using a generator with a surge protector, you can use a generator with a surge protector, but there's a little device that you have to pair with it. So this right here in my hand is called a neutral ground fusing plug. And basically what this does is it plugs in right here on any 110 port that you have on the generator, and it meshes the ground and the neutral together so that it tricks your surge protector into thinking that you have an earth ground. If you don't have this device in here and you have a smart surge protector that can detect a ground and cut power off if you don't have an earth ground, it will not allow power through your camper. Thus, you have to utilize a generator without any kind of surge protection. And this is going to be especially important if you have a hardwire surge protector in your trailer, because you're not going to be able to override that or go without the surge protector if it's hardwired into your travel trailer or fifth wheel. If you don't like that route, most generators on the market do have a little grounding screw right here. Somewhere on the face where all your controls and outlets are, you're going to find a little grounding screw. And what you can do is go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get two 4-foot grounding rods and a copper lead, so you can hook it up to the generator, run the wire to those 2 grounding rods, and then pound those grounding rods into the ground. And that will give you a true earth ground, so that you don't have to worry about getting shocked if it's wet out, or if you're in a situation where you don't want to utilize this neutral ground meshing plug. You can go ahead and go that route as well, and at that point it would emulate just like you're hooked up at a full hookup spot, whether that be at your house or at a campground or whatnot. Other than that, really not much else to go over today. If you do have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 330-564-0222. And if you have any further questions about generators, we do have a couple more in-depth videos that go over an open frame generator versus inverter generator, as well as a video starring our other parts associate Jeff, where he goes over how to properly maintain and your first unboxing of your generator, how to fill it up, make sure everything's good to go with oil and gasoline and things like that. But like I said, I hope this was helpful for you. If you guys have any questions, like I said, please feel free to give us a call at 330-564-0222 or stop in and say hello. And just like the mentioned last week, we do still offer the free toilet paper. Just come on in. We have our sign-up area, and we'll give you a free pack of toilet paper just like the normal RV show. Anyway, thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.